So the objective today, it is to make sure that you guys understand what is the program about, what are the requirements, if you're a good fit for it. And then in the end, we will have some Q&A. So we're going to start with the overview of the foundation, then about the program, what we offer, the selection criteria, and the application process. So let's get started. Amazing. So the Westerwelle Foundation is a nonprofit that was founded in 2013 and is based in Berlin. Um, if anyone has been to Europe or have family in Europe here, especially in Germany, Guido Westerwelle was a foreign minister and he was part of the government for many years. And he's also one of the prime leaders of the FDP. So this is the Liberal Party here in Germany. So he founded in 2013 with the objective to bridge the gaps between Europe and, in the beginning, Africa, and now, of course, we're expanding to Asia and Latin America. Other one of our founders who's still part of a board is Raf Domamuth. He's the CEO and founder of United Internet. This is one of the biggest internet providers here in Germany. So they are both very successful businessmen who understood that if you give enough opportunity to people, they can succeed much faster, much easily. So our key focus is to support startups. So we have physical hubs, so startup houses in Tunisia, Rwanda, and Tanzania. And we have plans, of course, to keep expanding and to have physical locations in more countries. So our mission is to uplift emerging markets through empowered entrepreneurship. So as I said, entrepreneurship is a very amazing way to lift these countries. And as Westerwelle said, Africa is a land of opportunity. So there is a lot to be done, and not only in Africa, also in Asia and Latin America. So this is the Westerwelle Foundation. So we have the main house here in Berlin, and then, as I said, in other African countries. If we talk about the Young Founders Program, this is the program that I manage currently, and is pretty straightforward. It is a program to help support and mentor young founders from the global south. So this is the simplification. So basically in the program, we offer mentoring. So we get mentors that are people that are very big and successful in their areas to mentor and support these young founders. We have peer learning, so to get together and get what are the main challenges for entrepreneur in Africa, what are the main challenges for entrepreneur in Asia, what can we help each other in a way to bridge those gaps and to make sure that everyone feels supported. We have expert sessions, so for example, expert session on product, on OKRs, on KPIs, financial statements, how to budget, investor readiness, how to do your pitch, of course, and then in the end of this 6 months fellowship, we normally have investor and corporate introductions. So we have our demo days or pitch days. So we support you guys with the pitch decks. We try to make sure that you understand what you need and what is asked of you from the VCs or from grants or etc., whatever you need. And then we help you get ready for this introduction. So we will introduce you to investors that will guide you and give you more clues of what can you improve, and if they are interested, of course, investing in you, is always like a great outcome. And last but not least, we have our Berlin conference. So in the end of the 6 months fellowship, so it's mostly online. We have the introduction, we have all the mentoring and etc. This is done online. And then by the end, we have the top 10 are invited here to Berlin to participate in a conference that is an entire week of learning, connecting, questions, investors, corporate sessions and panels, and of course, getting to know Berlin City, who's a very vibrant and amazing city, and has one of the most amazing startup environments in the entire world. Like the startup environment here in Berlin is fantastic. So talking about some key figures, as you see, the Young Founders Program has been running for a while now. So we had different cohorts. We have a good number of participants, and we have almost 250 jobs created. We have revenue increase. We have funds raised for each startup. And it has been a very successful program. And it's one of our um, main trains here on the Vesta Vela Foundation. I'm very proud to be managing this program. So then, what do we offer? As I said, of course, the mentorship, the peer learning, the investor readiness, the help with the pitches, and everything else you guys need. But we start with a digital kickoff conference that it goes in April. This is 2 days of basic training. We're gonna get the cohort together, get everyone in the same sync, explain the future, explain the calendar, what is going to be done, and everything else that is going to happen throughout the 6 months. Then we have the remote program that runs from April until September. And the 6 months is of what I said, of the mentorship, workshops, everything else. So we always make sure to understand what the specific cohort need and support this cohort. So if a specific cohort needs more understanding of product, we're going to get an expert on product and we're going to get a session on this. If a specific group needs more KPI, we're going to do this for the group. And we still have all the expert sessions in an amazing library. And I've been through almost all these videos and they are really fantastic because they are with experts in the fields and you have access to all these videos, previous questions, previous information. You can watch everything and get all this knowledge for yourself. And then, of course, the monthly peer mentoring session and introduction to your personal mentor. So your mentor will be mentoring just you, and you guys are going to have, we normally try to get someone who is an expert in the same field as you are. And we try to make sure that you guys are aligned and you have sessions and you talk and you can ask questions. And many of these mentors, like they get together and still talk and still connect after long after the fellowship is over. And then, of course, you get access to our network. Our network is absolutely fantastic. As I said, we have local hubs throughout Africa. We have ambassadors in many other countries. We have so many alumni that have fantastic now careers with success. So you're always able to get these introductions. You're always able to get contact with these amazing people who have so much to share with you guys. And then the last but not least, that is the Berlin conference that I know that everyone gets excited. As we said, the top 10. And the top 10 is always based in attendance, participation, and of course, your performance. So we want people who are engaged. We want people who are very excited, who are making part, who are trying hard to learn and to improve themselves. So these top 10 are chosen to come to the Berlin conference. And here we're going to talk now about the selection criteria of the Young Founders Program per se. So as we said, we want entrepreneurs with a high potential for impact and growth to become leaders for a sustainable future. So it's not just having a company. There are a series of criteria that are needed for really to fit into our program. So here are the main ones. In the last 5 years, started a for-profit. This is very important. We do not work for nonprofits. We work with for-profit companies. Yes, it can be a social entrepreneurship. It's absolutely fine as long as it's for profit. Yeah. And focus on developing or emerging markets. So we say the global south in general, this is Asia, Latin America, and Africa. And these most of these countries that are in a growth setting, they are growing, they are developing, and we want people from these markets. The second point is a scalable business model. What would be a scalable business model? Is something that you secure, that you know that you can get this process in places, even though it's still not there, but you can scale in the future. So you can grow and keep growing and expand your business. And ideally that you have generated already revenue and you have the first round of external funding. So we prefer that the company already started, it has some proof of concept that you already started doing, and well, your product or service or at whatever you do, it's already been working in the market that you are in. Disruptive qualities. So we always say that this is an interesting point, but we want people that want have a big vision, to create a more sustainable future, to create impact, to have growth, to make the market grow and develop. So, of course, we want people that are very motivated. And normally, these people have these disruptive qualities. Then, of course, one of very important point is that you're able to participate the digital conference kickoffs and that you can make time to participate in the activities, okay? So we have throughout the 6 months, as we said, peer mentoring, we have hangouts, we have the talk directly with your mentor, the expert sessions, and as we said, we have the top 10 that go to the conference is based on this, attendance, performance, participation. And one that is important is the good working knowledge of English. Why do we say it's important? Because this is an international community and English right now is the most spoken language um, throughout the world. So it is extremely important that you're able to communicate and understand, because how can you have an expert session with a CEO in English about OKRs and all of this lingo and specific words if you cannot understand properly what they're saying? So then it makes very hard for you to participate and really interact with everyone. So it's important you have a good understanding of English. So these are our selection criteria. Then the application process. What is our application process? Right now, our application is already open through this form here. Judith, could you please get the link on the chat as well? Judith is going to put the link in the chat as well. There, you can go through the information, fill out information about yourself and about your company. And then, of course, we're going to do the selection. Please have your pitch deck, LinkedIn profile, CV, and this basic financial information, because we need this to really, we have a lot, like thousands of applications. So to really understand if you're the best, we need all of this info. So please, only complete applications will be reviewed. This is extremely important point. We cannot choose someone if they don't have all the information there, because then it can have like a tiebreaker that is a small thing. And then if we don't have all the information, how can we know who is the best fit? The application takes around 20 minutes. So the first information is very basic. It's just about yourself. Then the company information may be a bit detailed, but if you have everything in hand, it will be a bit easier. And please feel free to apply. We're going to check it out and we'll be very happy to get your application there. The interviews will happen between the 21st and 25th of March of this year. So we'll be scheduling the interviews, and we'll schedule the interviews. We'll talk to you guys. We're going to send an email saying, hey, you got selected. Here is the link so you can schedule an interview. So please keep an eye on your email. The moment that we make the decisions, we're going to send it, and then you can schedule interview. We're going to talk. We're going to have a 50 minutes, including pitch. So we're going to really important that you get your pitch ready. We want to understand your company in the same way you would pitch for example, a VC or for a grant. We want to understand you and your company. What are your motivations? Why are you doing this? What is your product? What is the process? So it's good that you are able to at least give us the basic information about you and your company in this 15 minutes. And then we're going to have a Q&A that we're going to ask questions. And of course, you can ask your questions as well. And then we're going to judge your motivation and availability to see if you fit the program and if you fit the specific cohort. And then in late March, we will have the results, and we will email all applicants with the final result, and we'll provide feedback if you want from the ones that were interviewed and want to have feedback and understand more what they could done better or what else could they improve, that we'll be happy to give feedback to these people. All right, so this is basically our program. So this is the general explanation. Now, what I will do is I will open for questions. I will ask you guys if you have questions, please send in the chat. Yeah, so I can see and answer and we can get from there. All right, so okay, so what are you looking for in the pitch? So the pitch is something that is extremely important because there we can get to know the main information. So I think some things that are very needed in a pitch is, what is your product or service? So what are you providing? What do your company do? What is the process of your company? So does it start, for example, oh, we start getting, example, a farm. not the kind of company we want, but it starts in planting, etc. Then you have the product, then it goes to, so you have to explain what you do. Secondly, it's very important for us to understand the team, who is there, who is doing what, and we normally ask a full-time founder to be part of our program. All right, so pre-seed stage, not generating revenue. All right, so your pre-seed stage and are not generating any revenue. So I think it's important that you send us all the information, and then we'll evaluate your case and understand better if it would fit or not. Because sometimes, like if it is pre-seed stage, different companies have different definitions of pre-seed stage. So it's better if you send us your application, we're going to analyze. And if we feel that is not a good fit, perhaps when you are later stage in the future, you can apply again. What would the basic financial entail? How detailed? You can see that in the form. So basically the financial information that we ask is normally lifetime revenue, because then we can evaluate like how is it going, general expenses, what is the revenue that you had past year, this type of information, number of employees. So this is the information that we normally ask about the company. Do you have age requirements? So we say Young Founders Program, but of course we're not that strict. I would say that we don't have really a minimal age, except that you're over 18, because of course, if you're gonna travel and participate into multiple things, you have to be over 18. And maximum age, I don't think we're that strict, but I would say 35 to 40. As long as it's your first company, you're not a serial entrepreneur that already made 50,000 companies. This is normally for people who are starting, who want to make an impact. And so if you have 60 years old and you're a serial entrepreneur, you don't fit with our program. But if you're a bit younger and yours is your first company, then definitely we'll be happy to get your. My company is 2 years old. Am I eligible? It's not about the time that you have your company, because some companies, startups, sometimes in 6 months, they already have revenue generated, they already have a product, they already have pre-seed and etc. It really depends on which stage is your company in. If you were still way in the beginning, still conception stage, you probably wouldn't fit. But if your company is still already generating revenue, has a product, has a process and etc., yeah, why not? Does the MVP stage is acceptable to apply? Judith, help with this one.
I think, yeah, definitely, as Tammy has said, MVP is acceptable, just as pre-seed. These definitions are really varying, and the application only takes 20 minutes to go through. So if you send it to us, it's just safer, and we can assess it more fairly. If you just put it like this, it's really hard for us to say. It really depends also the region, the type of founder, as you saw. So encourage you to apply as well.
Amazing. Just to clarify, Judith is a global programs manager. So she managed all the programs globally throughout the entire world. So she's here to give me a support. All right. Is the LinkedIn profile CV or both? So definitely LinkedIn profile, because this is all about networking as well. So normally startup owner has to have a LinkedIn, has to be connected throughout people. So if you want to connect with investors and etc., they're going to ask you LinkedIn. This is something that happens 99% of time. So they can evaluate. But CV or both, CV as well, you can look at the form and see exactly the requirements. How old should your organization be? We don't have an age for the organization. Because as we said, depending on your company, it can be faster. Isn't the minimum 5 years? 5 years of company existing, Bernice? You mean the company has to be 5 years living? Not necessarily. We have, not necessarily, it really depends. Total revenue. Do we mention our revenue in the pitch? Yeah, well, normally you do. You have to remember something that we teach a lot for our cohorts is that pitches have to be adaptable for your public. So For us, we want a general pitch that we can understand who you are, who is your company, what is the process, and etc. You do not have to put every small detail and get a pitch that is like 50 pages. We know that there are some details, but will ask in the form your lifetime revenue, because we need to know how are you doing, is your company generating, where is your company exactly? So please mention this there. What components do you look for in the pitch? I think I generally said, but we normally would like to know your process, what is your service or product. We want to know in which stage is, how consolidated are your procedures, and where exactly is your company going? What is the market? What do you expect? So I think, like, very interestingly enough, if you research like best pitches online, you're going to find thousands of links, and then you can look at general look just to see how these best pitches have this information, that it is product or service, process, market, and revenue generated, and what is going on. For Afghanistan, have GPS tracking services company up and running for more than 5 years. Yes, definitely. If it is like, if you're a young founder, if you're a person between, I don't know, 18 and 35, is your first company, you're starting, you're working hard to make it go, you're a founder, absolutely, we'll be happy to get your application. Any template for the pitch deck? No, we don't have any specific templates because it's a very specific thing. You can literally create your pitch deck. Can I post my CV in my LinkedIn? Is okay. Well, the LinkedIn normally compiles your CV. Unless you need any specifics, you can also send to us. With financials, are you looking for a 5 or 10-year forecast? That's an excellent question. We are not that strict with forecasts, but it's always nice if you have an overall forecast in your pitch deck to say where you're going and where you plan to go. This is always an interesting information, especially for in the future when we want to get investors and etc. connected. They're always going to ask that. Please send us the link in our emails. The link for the form, you mean? I can see if I can send that. Everyone, how many years are you considering? Again, it's not it's not something fixed. It really depends on your company. There is any age requirement. As I said, normally between 18 and we say around 35. But if you're a bit older and it's also your first company, we would evaluate this. Great. Are you looking to give founders who have less education exposure? Not necessarily. I don't know what you mean by less education or exposure, but we don't have a requirement on you. Like you have to have this education and study this and that, this master's in this. We don't have this. We want your profile to be a person who's working hard and want to make an impact, has some ambition to have some growth, and has a company that is trying to thrive and grow in an emerging market. So it's not that strict that, oh, you have to have less exposure or you cannot be successful. You can be relatively successful in your city, but be looking to expand to other cities, and we'll be happy to support you if you fit on our cohorts. Hi, like Elon Musk, I run multiple startups with different offerings. How do I apply for each startup? Interesting. Okay. So normally we support young founders that are starting. All right. But when you say multiple startups, again, we don't know in which stage is each startup. If you have multiple startups and they are all extremely successful, you can apply and we'll see if you fit. But maybe you say that you have 6 startups all in ideation stage, so technically none of them are running. So we really have to see individually basis. So I would say apply, and then you are going to have to do one application for each startup, and then we're going to see, depending on the stage and depending on your profile, if it really fits with the cohort and with the program. Is there any pitch template? No, again, you can literally look online and they're going to have multiple options. Education level, no. This is not something that is extremely strict, because you can start a company in any situation. So no, we have from every type of background alumni, like literally every background. So it's not something that is so strict, no. What do you look for in founders? What make an application stand out? This is a good question. All right. So what do we look for in founders? We look for in founders that, as we said, speak English. That's important so we can communicate. That have a profile or of very like hands-on, hardworking, um, growth mindset. They want to grow. They want to expand. They want to scale. They want to make changes. Yeah, it wants to be innovative. It doesn't mean that your product or your startup has to be the most different thing in the planet. It just means that you have a lot of determination and hard work and you want to keep growing, you want to keep expanding, and you want to make a difference in the world. So what makes an application stand out? That it's complete, because a lot of people send incomplete applications. So then, as we said, when we have thousands of applications and we have, I don't know, a bunch that are incomplete, how do you do a tiebreaker? If you have two companies who are very similar and one is full, everything is there, it's easier for us to understand this company full profile and make the difference. Please share the recording as soon as possible. Yes, okay. Suppose the company is at least 5 years, but only have been operating at least two. Yes, it does qualify. Because some companies, as we said, this is a timeline. It's very hard to say a company that is 10 years or 2 years, but we normally don't take a company who's been operating for 30 years in the market and has a lot of generation and etc. because this is not a young company. But you have 5 years and you're like 2 years in the market because you took longer to get your process going, you took longer to get your products going. This is absolutely a young company. It's not something that has been 50 years in the market. Some programs give priority to those who has less exposure. All right. So for us, it's not about, oh, you have this exposure, you have that exposure. Does your company, does your startup and you fit in our program? Do you have these qualities? Are you hardworking? Do you want to participate? Is your company generated some revenue? Has this main qualities that we're talking about? Then we're not going to necessarily be like, oh, you're um, really known in your small town, and we're going to say no or yes. So I don't think that exposure is the main point for us, but well, selection for the program is against any equity stake by OFP to select startup. No, that if we take equity, if this is the question, no, absolutely not. We are nonprofit. All of our profit goes back to the programs. Absolutely not. Nothing of your company is going to be to us. We don't own anything. We want to mentor you. We want you as a founder to grow and develop so you can grow inside of your city, your region. We don't take equity. We don't take stake. We don't take percentage. You don't pay anything to the program. Zero. We don't have fees. Nothing, nothing. There's no money here to be taken by us. We are founded by our board members and by our own programs and by companies. So board members and people who want to give back to society, they are all extremely successful people. So we have many investors. They are successful. They already have a good life. And they're like, we want to help other entrepreneurs who are starting. So this is why they invest on us and we do not need anything from you. Are you going to share with us this recording? I could not get it since the beginning. Yes, we will share the recording. How many people do you accept in the program? We have this program running twice a year, and each cohort is 25 people. So we have 25 one each 6 months. So it's always running. Right now we have running a cohort. We're going to have a conference, and then we're starting with this new cohort that maybe a couple of you guys can be part of. Yes, we'll share. Yeah, okay. It must have all the team for pitch round, only the founder applicant, only for the founder applicant. You do not have to have your entire team. We want, because we're going to be mentoring one of the founders of the applicant. We're going to be mentoring you. So as we said, we prefer that the founder is full-time founder. So you are the founder, co-founder of the company, and you're the one willing to participate in every session. You're the one that's going to get mentorship. You're the one that is going to be the face of your company inside of the fellowship program, inside of social media, inside of everything. What if I don't have a strong team or a small team? That's not an issue because the main point for us, as we said, there are some startups that have a very small team that is full-time and a couple of part-time employees or freelancers, etc., but is already generating revenue, already has a product, is already going on. So you don't have to have 50 people in your team, as long as you fit the other requirements. So the team is something that we will ask, but it's not a requirement. Can you take us through the program, like briefly from week 1 until the end? Well, I said this a bit earlier, but yes, I can give a general, just a general thing very quickly. We start with a digital kickoff conference. So, okay, to be more clear, we have the application. If you're selected, you go through the interviews. Going through the interview with pitching, if you're approved and selected for this cohort, you receive a notification saying, hey, you've been approved, welcome to this cohort. Then you will participate on the digital kickoff. They'll be beginning of April. The digital kickoff is 2 days of training online. After this, you're going to participate on the remote program for 6 months. Monthly, we have expert sessions. For example, they are not preset because it depends on the cohort. So some cohorts need more funding. Some cohorts need more investment. Cohorts, it depends. So then you're going to have mentorships and you're going to have peer mentoring sessions. Then by the end of this, you're going to have the graduation, you're going to receive a certificate, and the top 10 will be announced, and this 10 will come to Berlin to participate on a week of training, panels, and etc. This is the program throughout the 6 months. What kind of activities or products do you prefer the most? We are, again, not strict. We had very different sectors. We have travel industry, energy, farming, not a farm, but like farming products, like fisheries, that is like certification of sustainability, eco products. We have many different products, so it's not a specific area. It's a company that's 2 years old, qualified. Yes, it depends on the stage you're in. So please share all the links. Yes. So what does the program cover? Is any expense that we have to consider for ourselves? No, because look, throughout the 6 months, they are all online. So technically you have to consider that you have internet at home or you have access to internet somewhere and you have a cell phone or computer that you can access the program. This is expense number 1. That would be for yourself. The program is all done online. There is absolutely no expense. We not charge anything. And the top 10 that come to Berlin is with the expenses paid. Expenses like flight, the hotel, and the activities. This is all covered. If you are in the top 10 and you decide you want to take a month traveling, backpacking through Europe, that is on you. But we covered this week and these basic expenses. So no, we do not charge anything. We don't have a fee. There is absolutely nothing that you would have to pay. Will it give us a grant if we do well? No, we do not give grants. We do introduction to investors. So we will introduce you to investors. We will get you talking to investors, talking to, for example, you are a company that's more social entrepreneurships, then we can get in contact with brands. We can help you prepare everything, but we will not give you money. If you are the top 10, we will pay for your expenses. That's different. So we'll pay for you to come to Berlin, but we'll not give you directly money. And then if you will top 10, you will get introduced to even more investors face-to-face directly here in Berlin. And then you can pitch to them. We will help you pitch. Help you pitch, what I mean is help you with your pitch deck, help you prepare for the pitch, but we cannot talk for you. We cannot go there and be like, hey, we're helping represent this company, because we don't do that. But we'll help you get as perfect as possible for this pitch. Who covers all the traveling expenses? Us, for the top 10, as I said, not for everyone. And for the rest of the program is done remotely, so it's from your home, so you don't have to pay anything. What is the selection criteria for top 10? Excellent question. Participation. So you can come in the program and then you ghost us, you're not gonna go top 10. You have to participate into the expert sessions, peer mentoring, and mentors. Our mentors, they are the top of the industry. So impress them, talk to them, learn from them, make questions, and then they are gonna tell us, hey, this person is really good. Also, your performance. So how are you doing? Are you working hard? Is your company going forward? Do you have any kind of growth? It doesn't have to be growth in a matter of just money, but growth can be measured for many things. And then these would be the top 10. Is education journalist company eligible? Yes, we have edtechs, we have education companies, we have traveling companies. Journalism, I don't know exactly what you mean, but if it is like you have to apply and then we'll see. But we don't have limitations about the sector. So education, absolutely. Journalists, absolutely. You can apply and then we'll evaluate. Any application pitch deck for reference from your early cohorts, ideal pitch deck. This is, again, there is no perfect pitch deck because, again, each pitch deck will be different based on your public. So you can go for a pitch deck that is for a VC, is going to be completely different from a pitch deck for a grant, who's different from a pitch deck for a program. So what I would say is look online, top 10 pitch decks. You're going to find pitch deck from Facebook, you're going to find pitch deck from Amazon, you're going to find pitch deck from all of these things. Take a look around and then you can see some general information. Just make sure that we understand your product. What are you doing? What do you expect? So like, for example, we want to grow in the market in the next years, blah, 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 etc. from this. And so we can understand what you want and what can we do for you. This is very helpful. I'm running an ICT company as globally recognized and expert level instructor Raya in Star. I don't know what is a Raya in Star. Judith, do you know what is a Ryan Star? Ryan Star?
I think in general, for all of these very, very specific requests, just put in an application. There's nothing, just one sentence is never going to be enough for us to tell you if you're going to get into the program or not. On top of everything, it really depends also on the other applications we get. So of course, if you're recognized or if you have some a great company, put that information in there. But I think for all of the remaining very specific questions, am I going to get in because this is my profile? I would just suggest go do the application and then you guys will definitely figure out if you're going to get in or not.
All right. Are there US or only European investors? Do you take equity in the pitch? No, we don't take equity, anything. We don't take any cent from you. We don't take fees. We don't take percentage. We don't take your company. We don't want your company. We want to assist you to grow. This is not the objective of the Young Founders Program. We do not take any equity or any part in your company. There are investors all throughout the world. We have investors specialized. For example, there are people in Africa who get African investors. There are people in Africa who get US investors, get Asian investors. We get investors that want to invest in you. So we don't really look if the investor, we reach out, we have a very global network. There was a question for me about the visa application. So if you're coming to Europe, if you're top 10, and then guys, this is very, very far. This is like after the program, you get selected and etc. We will assist in the matter that we will give you the invitation letters, we'll give you like all the instructions, but we do not go to the embassy and say, hey, allow this person to come because each embassy is different, but we will give you all the necessary information. And then you have to schedule, you go to the embassy, you have all the paperwork, and then you apply, and then you come or not, unless there is a big situation. Community program like climate change activities. If it is a startup company that has revenue and is for profit, yes. We have social entrepreneurship companies that they have a lot of focus in social. However, they still have profit. They still have everything else as any startup. Main source links. Judith, could you please share again in the form, In the form, you're gonna find all the main information. Here, either way, here is my email. If you have any more specific questions, you please apply. Unless it's something really, 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 really specific and it's completely out of our Q&A, I'll be happy. With geographic country register startup contest this program. Now, as we said, we are from the global south. So Latin, Africa, and Asia. So yes, Asian country, definitely. Do you have an idea the schedule for live sessions, the ones with mentors? It would be very useful to know if I have availability. Your mentor is yours, so it's very personal. Some mentors and mentees want to meet weekly. We do suggest that we at least monthly, but you will schedule your sessions with your availability and your mentor availability. The one with the mentors we cannot previously schedule. The sessions that we provide with field like sessions, then we will say in the beginning for the chosen. Have no audio on my side. To startups, of course, generate revenue on month one, eligible to apply. On course to generate revenue. Well, I would say apply, see if you're, I don't know, if you're, I would wait until the last second and put the first revenue I do, even if it is like 50 euros, but I would already put something. But has one of your partners in previous years received any investment through the program? Again, we don't invest in companies, but have they found investors that we introduce to them? Yes. We literally have investments going through now. We have people, we introduce you to investor. If the investor is going to invest in you, depends a lot on you, in your pitch, how you answer the questions and etc. Have they? Yes. If rejected, do you provide any reason to know what are the recent areas of improvement? I would say that we provide feedback for the interviewed ones. So we're going to select the top ones, and then we're going to have interviews throughout the, as I said, 21st to 25th of March. And then for the people who are interviewed who are not chosen, if you ask us, we will give you a full feedback. If it is just that you send the form, no, because we receive like 3,000 applications. Sometimes it's a bit hard. But most people, it's because they didn't fill the full form. Because if we're missing information, how can we evaluate you? It's a bit hard. All right. So are there any more questions? I had a hands up, I think. The person already put the hands down and made the question here. I think they did. Are there any more questions for me? I'd be happy to answer. We still have some time. All right, amazing. Perfect. So as I said, please, the form to apply, Judith put here in the chat. Yeah. So then what we ask you is go to the form, check it out, make sure that you have this information. And then we will be more than happy to answer you guys if you have other thing. Again, I'm also sending here. This is the form. Please open, save it to your computers, take time, check it out, and please send. NDA, no, no, we're not. Again, we don't get equity. We don't get your money. No, definitely no NDA. We want you guys to talk about the program because we want you guys to learn. And our alumni are our biggest walking advertisement, telling people like what they learned, what they got from the program, how they grew. So of course we don't want you guys to be silent. Sorry, Elvis, I didn't see your question. Could you please send it again? I will answer right now. If you send it again, I'll answer right now. My startup is 2 years old. I answered this question. I said there is not a problem whatsoever. We have companies with different phases and different number of years. What we ask is that you have generated revenue, you are for profit, and you are one of the founders of the company. So if you fill this criteria, then yes, please apply. We're gonna check it out and see who are the top participants for this cohort. Yes, how much time do we have to present the pitch in the interview? So the interview, it's around 15 minutes. So you don't have to do it's 50 minutes total. You're not going to do the 50 minutes of this. So we say like around 5 minutes, it's great enough time for you to present your product. So as I say, like what for us, what do we want to understand? I know that 95% of the questions here is about pitching. And this is one of the points that we do a lot in our fellowship. I even did one-on-one with some of our founders to answer questions, help them with pitching. So the main point in pitching is your pitch clear? Do we understand it? Does it look professional? Then, do you have your service or product clear there? Do we have the process of your product clear? Again, if it is a service, someone, and then you put, someone sees the link on the internet, the person clicks on the link, they talk, they fill a form, we contact them, they sign for the product, they receive the product. If this is your process, please just make it clear, because we need to understand what you're doing, what you're selling, how you're generating revenue. This would be the main points that I think are very, very important to have in your pitch deck. All right, so I think these were my main questions that I had here. I will give you guys like 2 minutes if you any specific questions to be prepared to in the pitch. No, not specific questions. Again, we're gonna ask if anything was not clear from your form, your application, we're gonna ask, but where we wanna understand is, are you willing to be in the program? Do you have time to be in the program? Do you have availability to participate? Are you willing to put on the work to keep growing and have your mentorship sessions and expert sessions and etc. And why do you want to be part of the program? What can we do for you? What would you like to learn? Is your main point to get ready for investors? Is your main point to learn how to do better process with product, compliance, etc. So we can see if you fit with the program. For how long would the fact be by the jury out of the total 15-minute pitch? How long would it be? No, the pitch is not 15 minutes. The pitch is 5 minutes. You're going to do a 5-minute pitch. And then after this, we're going to have questions. So your pitch is not going to take, the interviewing total is 15 minutes, not necessarily the pitch per se. You missed the previous questions. In the MVP, still didn't reach revenue stages, is acceptable. Marva, what we said previously is apply, because we can only see case by case. We're going to analyze the case. Some companies are pre-seed and etc. And then or are stage A and etc. And then we're going to see where are you going, and then we can decide. What if I'm not ready to get investment? This is not the only thing we do. Not the only point is just investment. I'm talking about investment a lot because it's one of the main things, but it's not the only thing we mentor on. We mentor on product, we mentor on OKRs, we mentor on budgeting, we product management, process. There's so many things that takes to be a startup owner, and not just investment. Some companies realize that, oh, maybe for me it's better if I go grant, for me it's better if I take a smaller VC. For me, each company is different. So if you get revenue and get all the other points, you can still apply. That's absolutely fine. Is that not a good fit? It depends. What if I'm setting up my company, I don't have a website yet? The website is not the point, but what do you mean by setting up the company? This is very like, if your company still doesn't generate revenue, it still doesn't have a process, it has no employees, it's the idea stage, it is not a fit. But if it is already a revenue and exists, it has everything else, yes. Could any pool of mentor and their profiles made available so we can go through beforehand for reference? Pool of mentors and their profiles? No, because our mentors are tailored for the specific founder. If we put a bunch of our mentors there, like they have different backgrounds, so then it's not going to make a point. For example, right now, if we have someone that works with fishery and sustainability, you're going to look at them and be like, oh, it doesn't fit with me. But of course, it's not going to fit because we chose this person because they work with fishery and sustainability, because we have a founder that has a fishery that works with sustainability. So it's tailored. So it doesn't really, it doesn't make a lot of sense if we just put them out. Yes. Thank you. Very helpful. Yes, of course. Like, we'll be very happy to receive you guys applications. Please feel free. Again, there's my email. Please send me any questions. I'm the coordinator just of this program. This is my whole focus. So I'll be more than happy to answer any questions if they are specific. But my main thing is, don't be so focused in small stuff like, is my pitch perfect? Part of our mentorship is also to increase your pitch. What we want you guys to have is to understand, who am I? Why do I want this fellowship? Do I want to grow? Do I want to expand? Do I want to scale? Do I want to have amazing impact? Then if you do, we'll be more than happy to have you guys application. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm very excited to meet you guys. I'm seeing little faces. We'll team us up with mentors who are operating in our specific industries. 95% yes. Like, we even had people who work in the funeral industries, and we found a mentor from the funeral industry, or like someone who work in like chocolate, and we found a mentor from the chocolate, and they had like sessions of chocolate tasting from each other and sending throughout the countries. And that's a lot of fun, because it's a super successful entrepreneur with someone who's starting, and then they connected each other and then they grow together. So it's a lot of fun. Yes, chocolate from Mexico. Oh, Ramon, yes, exactly. Yes, yeah, exactly. So we found a mentor that was specifically chocolate, his area, very specific. So it was amazing. Yes, he's great. He's one of our ambassadors. He's fantastic. And he's from the current cohort. So yeah, definitely. So it really depends on in your area. So what we do is we have an amazing pool and network, thanks to, of course, our founders and our board members. And then we go like, we see the cohort and we see like, okay, this person, for example, we had one time, I'm from this country, but I want to expand to this other country. I would love someone from my area that is in this different country that I want to expand on. Would you have a mentor like that? So we went to our network, we contact people and found a mentor on the country they want to expand, because then they could sit together and be like, oh, how is the product? How is the market? How can I expand to this other country? Then they could grow. It depends on your objective. What we do is, as we said, we have the digital kickoff, then we have business diagnostics. We're going to sit with the founders and understand what you need, what you want, what can we do to make you grow. And as we said, we don't take an equity, we don't take percentage, you don't pay membership, nothing. The objective of the program is to make you guys grow. So I'm really excited to get your applications. And I think we're about our time. Thank you guys so much. If you have any last questions, please feel free to drop. If not, thank you so much. And we'll send the recording. And then feel free to send messages to my email if you have some very specific questions. But in the end of the day, apply. You never know. You can apply and just be like, whoa, I got selected. Even if you think that, oh, it's not perfect in your mind. I am successful, one of the top 10. Will I be guaranteed investment to scale my business? We do not do direct investments. We will, if you're top 10, you're going to meet investors as all the other 25. But if you're top 10, on top of that, you will have the trip here to Berlin paid by us. And here in Berlin, you're going to meet the startup business, you're going to meet hubs, you're going to meet investors, you're going to meet business owners, and then we will help prepare you for this moment. And then you have to pitch yourself. You're a business owner, you have to go there and pitch. How can I guarantee success and investment? It's a lot about you. If you participate in the sessions, if you went through your mentorship, if you made questions and learned from us, I would say that your chances are much higher to get an investment. And normally the top 10 are people who are participating very hard, so they learn a lot. I applied last week, but never got a confirmation email. Well, normally, I don't think we have a specific confirmation email. If you think that it didn't work or you had some error thing, just shoot me an email. I can double check for you. I'll be happy to do it. All right, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you so much for your time. I'm really excited to see some of these faces in the future in the interviews. So yes, we will send you everything. So do not worry and have a lovely week. And I'm looking forward for your applications. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye.
Bye.